Okay, so what we are going to run through in this video demonstration is how we can enable military symbology within ArcGIS Pro and how we can publish that to our portal. So just point to note, I am in ArcGIS version 3.0. However, the workflow is pretty much the same within ArcGIS version 2.9. And you do need to be in ArcGIS version 2.9 to be able to carry out this workflow. So first of all, we start within ArcGIS Pro in a project, and we need to make sure that we have the military symbology editor function enabled on one of our tabs. If we don't have that option enabled, we can go to the project tab, we can click on options, we can go down to our customize the ribbon option here. We can then search for the symbology editor function that we need and add that to a tab over here. Okay, once we do that, it'll be added onto the tab that we've created, and then we are good to go. So what we now need to do is from our edit tab, we need to turn on the military symbology editor, right, and click enable. When we do this in ArcGIS Pro version 2.9, it will go through and ask you to specify your standard and which layers to add, right? So there are quite a lot of layers you can add. For the purpose of this demonstration, I'm just going to pick one to expedite the process. What this will do is it's going to give you a featured data set within ArcGIS Pro that's going to have all the subtypes and domains already set up so that the dictionary symbology render will work for you. Okay, so we'll just click OK on that. And that's going to go through and load the layer package in to ArcGIS Pro. Now, depending on your computer, this may go really quick, or it might take a little bit longer. So now we've got that military overlay loaded in. We can see it's a group layer, and then you've got the air group, and under air we have the air layer, which is the one that we are looking to share. So once this has been loaded in, okay, I'll just bring up our catalog pane just to show what this actually is going to bring into ArcGIS Pro. So when I go to my catalog pane, I can expand folders, my project 25, and the feature data set. And in here, we can see the feature classes that come with the military symbology editor, right? So it's loading this pre-made feature data set into your file geodatabase. Now these files here, these feature classes are stored within the install files of ArcGIS Pro. So within your install files in ArcGIS Pro, this is the default install location right here. So program files, ArcGIS, Pro resources, and then our military dictionaries are there. If we go up one folder, we can go down to our layer templates, and we can see our defense layer templates in here that you can also use. So if you are looking for a layer package, you can utilize that there. The next thing we need to do in order to be able to publish to your portal to have this symbology working is we need to add the style into ArcGIS Pro. So at version 2.9, when you load the layer package, it'll add in a mobile style for you. So I'm just going to click on our styles there and choose add style. And I'm going to navigate to my C drive where that information is stored. Okay, so program files, ArcGIS, Pro, resources, scroll down to dictionaries because we're looking for the dictionary style. Choose your standard and click OK to add that in. Now that is added in, right, it's added into your catalog pane under styles. The next thing you'll need to do is you'll need to share this style as a web style to your portal. Okay, so in here you'll fill out your name, your summary, and tags. Okay, as you would for sharing anything else, and determine where you want to store that within your portal. We recommend putting that into a folder to make it easier to find later on, and who you intend on sharing that style with, right? So you'll go through and click analyze and share. That shares it to your portal. I won't go and do that now because it does take a little bit of time because it is quite large, right? But once that has been shared to your portal, right, you'll be able to see that stored within there. Okay, so in here, we'll see these styles that you'll be able to look at. Okay, so point to note, you need to use one that's called a style, not a desktop style. Okay, and the way you can tell easily is if when you hover over it, it's showing up on the other screen, you'll see type style. If you hover over this one here, this is a desktop style. So the little styles actually have that little cloud behind them. The next part of the process in order to be able to make this work is we now need to share that military overlay layer to our portal. So if we go to our share tab at the top, we can click on web layer. Okay, we'll choose our web layer. We'll then provide a name for our web layer. So this will be, actually, before we need to do that, my apologies, is we need to look at the feature layer and change the symbology. So in ArcGIS Pro version 2.9, you'll see an appearance tab here. Click on Symbology, and we need to utilize the symbology that we've just shared to our portal. So we go to More, Add Custom Dictionary, right? And we want to grab that style file from our portal content, right? So in looking in portal section here, my content, locate the 25D style you would like to use, click OK. That's going to load that symbology into ArcGIS Pro. So we can see that process going on now. Now that that's loaded in here, we then need to click the drop down here and make sure we pick the bottom option, okay? Because that'll be the style that you've just added in, okay? Now that that is set up, this layer, your air layer, is now pointing to that symbology style stored within your portal. Now what we can do is we can go back to the share as a web layer pane, give it a name, military symbology, provide a summary and tags for the end users so they know what it is going to be used for. Select your feature layer type and where you'd like to store that. If you are intending on people editing this, you would then go to your configuration tab up top, click on the pencil and enable editing as well. Once that has been done, you would go through and analyze, fix up any problems or errors, then publish that layer. Now that layer may take a little bit of time to publish depending on how many layers you've got in your contents pane on the left. Once that has finished being published to your portal, we can then go into ArcGIS Online, right? You'll see your layer that you have published. Now this is one that I've done previously, okay? We can then open that up into a web map and we will see that symbology show up here, okay? Now that we have that layer within our web map, we can then go through and use our editing tools if we would like to add another one in. Now, point to note with this is that the military symbology feature layer will only work in the new map viewer. So we can't use the map viewer classic. It has to be in the new map viewer in order for it to work. Okay. So here, if we're using the edit function, we do have some examples of other options we can put in, right? Just as an example here, I'll grab the civilian one, pop it up here. Okay. Once you drop that on the point, you can then start going and filling out all these options here, right? So again, this is pulling from the domains and subtypes, so the domains on the right fields, right? And you can go through and decide what that symbol should represent. And as you'll see, it'll update that symbol after you've gone through and filled out what you need to. Once that's done, you can then click create. That'll go through and create that feature for you, right? And then once that is done, you can carry on with what you need to do. Okay. Some of them you may want to add some other options in there, as you can see, but that is the general workflow for publishing your military symbology layer to your portal. I've just published this to ArcGIS Online, but this will also work in Enterprise Portals version 10.9 and later. If you do have any questions, feel free to reach out, but that is the workflow. Keynotes, again, make sure that the symbology of your layer is pointing to the dictionary style from your portal.